Welcome to NBA Today. I'm Richard Jefferson in for Malika Andrews. I've got Ramona Shelburne, Tristan Thompson, and the professor, Zach Lowe, here with me. But we are starting our show in Charlotte. The Suns are there preparing for their Wednesday matchup and have just announced Kevin Durant will make his debut tomorrow. He spoke after practice earlier today.
You have a lot of experience coming back from this injury mid-season. Does that help you do this again?
Yeah, most definitely. Been through it before, understand the process, the rehab process, and how I felt last time. So we try to gauge this situation against that one and see where I am. But it's good that I went through it before.
Kevin, curious just how you feeling right now, knowing you're about to play.
I feel great. I've been looking forward to getting this opportunity to play again. It's been a long time. I was having fun out there before I got injured, so looking forward to going out there and picking up where I left off. And I know it ain't going to be that smooth. I know it's going to take me some time to get used to everything early on, but as far as just having fun and just getting lost in the game, I'm looking forward to doing that again.
All right, well, Brian Windhorst is in Charlotte for KD's debut. What's the expectation for Durant's first game in a Suns jersey?
Yeah, RJ, it's going to be difficult to hold expectations down because a year ago when he came back from very similar injury with the Nets, his first game back he scored 31 points. His second game back he scored 37 points. So the expectations are going to be high. Now he is going to be on a minute restriction tomorrow night, so I'm not sure he's going to get that minute load. But I'm going to be honest with you, being around the team over the last couple of days, I know that Devin Booker plays everything monotone, and I know that Chris Paul is long, experience with keeping expectations low. There's no doubt in my mind that there's a lot of excitement around this Suns team of what they're going to be when they get Kevin Durant. And he's had several long practices today. They worked out on the floor for over 2 hours as they've worked on getting into sets. Obviously, the reality is there's probably going to be a rough patch or two, but the expectation is that he is going to hit the ground running, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he fits in seamlessly to what this team does offensively.
Well, look, unfair or not, adding Durant immediately bumped the Suns as the favorites in the West. So, Ramona, I want to ask you, how should the Suns kind of measure their success in KD's first season?
I mean, they did this move so they can contend for a championship. This is a team that was in the finals 2 years ago, and I think you have to have that as your bar. Like they made this move to get back to the finals, and they don't have a lot of time here. But Brian, I think what you said about the excitement level, I think that's interesting because, as we reported in that story we wrote together when the trade was made, there was some sadness there. They really missed a lot of the players that they traded. The Twins, obviously, they've been there for a long time, and in that culture in Phoenix, and they've had some time now to move past that because Kevin has been recovering from this injury. It's allowed Kevin some time to join his team to ingratiate himself to his new teammates, and I think they've had this extra bit of time has probably been good for the team chemistry.
Now, Tristan, you went to 4 straight finals, and so you understand that windows can be smaller or they can be big depending on how you look at it. With Kevin Durant under contract, do you believe that this is a win now, or do you think that they have a window to win when we're talking about a championship?
No, it's a win-now approach, RJ. The fact that they traded part of their youth with Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, the mindset, especially with the new ownership, it's win now and let's keep winning. And you heard his quotes. He gave the infamous LeBron quote, not just 1, 2, 3. He wants to win multiple championships and put up banners. And that's Kevin Durant's mindset. Speaking to KD over the break, he's ready and locked and loaded. He said, I'm ready to come in and I'm ready to take this team to another level. So, for him, he's looking at this as a championship team, and he wants to play in June, and that's their mindset coming in.
Now, Zach, I'm going to ask you kind of the same question. Do you believe that it's like they need to win now, or is this the build? I'll go back to when the Lakers got Pau Gasol in the middle, around the trade deadline. Pau Gasol goes to the Lakers. They get to the finals and lose, but then they win the next 2 championships. Is that a more realistic scenario, or is it they need to win now, or this season is a failure?
First of all, can we just zoom out for a second? I blinked, and Kevin Durant was on a Nets team that had won 18 of 20. Yeah. And then I woke up, and he plays for the Phoenix Suns. It's a very strange sensation that I'm experiencing right now, the anticipation that he's going to make his debut. I like the Pau Gasol analogy. I mean, KD's on a different tier than Pau Gasol, as great as Pau was. I think it's almost I don't know if unfair is the right word, but to put any single season as a championship or bust season is like too strict a criteria. Too many things can happen, but you don't make a trade like this. All the draft picks, the great young players you traded, it is championship or bust within the remaining window of Chris Paul being near his prime, within the remainder of Kevin Durant's prime, which the way he's playing could extend for another 5 years. Whether it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, they're going to look at it as championship or bust. Even if the bust downside, they're hoping anyway, with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton still here, that they won't fall into a trough like the Nets did back when they traded for Pierce and Garnett and all of that. But yeah, I do think if they go 5-6 years and they don't ever win a title, I think they'll look around at each other and say, man, that's disappointing.
Well, 5-6 years, that's a long window. Let's be really honest. Look, for me, when I look at this team, I think a window. I think this year they get better. Next year they come in, they have a training camp. I'm not saying that they can't win a championship this year, but I'm not going to all of a sudden berate them all summer if they lose to a Milwaukee team, if they lose to a Denver team in the conference finals and say that season was a failure. No, you go into next season and they'll probably be the betting favorites or top 3 going in, depending on what Boston and Milwaukee look like. Adrian Wojnarowski reporting, ESPN sources, LeBron James' right foot is expected to be reassessed in 2 weeks to see how much progress that he has made. But timeline on return expected to extend beyond that checkpoint. Where Lakers reside in the standings by then could impact how soon it makes sense for him to return. Dave McMenamin is now with us. You're in Memphis. What are the Lakers' immediate plans without LeBron?
Richard, Troy Brown Jr. will get the starting spot. He spoke to reporters this morning. He said, I can't say this hasn't been the craziest season he's ever been a part of in his time in the NBA, but he's looking forward to what the lineup can do defensively. He specifically mentioned Jared Vanderbilt and being out there, his length, his activity alongside Vando's, and hoping to free up things to get the team moving. Transition games, steals, deflections, 3-on-2, 2-on-1, and that can make up somewhat for the absence of LeBron. He said he's not trying to come in, trying to replicate LeBron. You can't do that. But they're hoping that the depth that they added at the trade deadline can make a difference. And obviously they need D'Angelo Russell back as well. He's been out the last couple games with an ankle injury, and he's doubtful for tonight too. So it's not just LeBron that they're missing right now.
Yeah, this couldn't come at a worse time for LA. What are the Lakers saying kind of behind closed doors about making it through the next few weeks without LeBron? They were just playing better. They had that outstanding comeback against Dallas, an unexpected comeback, and it looked like they were starting to build some momentum.
Yeah, Richard, I'm told they're going to have an all-hands-on-deck coaches meeting today and go through lineup permutations and figure out what groups can work together here. I think 2 names that will come up in that conversation are Rui Hachimura and Lonnie Walker. Both those guys had kind of been in lesser roles once the team was reshuffled at the trade deadline, and certainly with Rui playing the same position as LeBron, there's some minutes there. And Lonnie Walker, they like, and it was actually a big part of their team in the early going this season. They like what he can bring offensively to this group. And so, again, this is tough for Darvin Ham to have to go through again. He just thought he had something settled. He said he finally had his starting lineup he planned to use for the rest of the season. And now he has to figure things out all over again.
No, thank you, Dave. That's just tough news out of LA. Look, losing LeBron James is not great. The Lakers will have to navigate the next 2 or 3 weeks, if not more, without him. Zach, I'm going to ask you, do you believe that this closes their playoff window?
I don't. I'm not going to go there yet. I will say I'd feel a lot better about not going there if they had D'Angelo Russell, because now they're down LeBron and they're down their starting point guard, and I wonder what that offense is going to look like in the minutes that Dennis Schroeder has to rest because he's not going to be able to play 48 minutes. What is that going to be like? But I do think if D'Angelo Russell could come back soon, none of those teams ahead of them are like runaway freight trains. They have these next 3 games coming up after tonight. They have Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Golden State. Can you squeak out 2 of those? Is there a 35-point, 15-rebound Anthony Davis game in there somewhere? If D'Angelo Russell comes back, I think they have enough to sort of muddle through and hang in the race for 9 or 10. I think everything above that is probably going to be closed off to them now because the LeBron loss is just that big, and it may turn out to be so big and so unfillable that they fall even more than I'm thinking. But I think there's a world where they go, say, 4-6 over their next 10 games, get a little lucky with other teams losing ahead of them, and find themselves, hey, we're in 11th, we still got a shot. I think that's in play.
Well, D'Angelo Russell really is the key here. And from what I'm told, they're expecting him back soon. Probably not on this road trip Friday. They're hopeful he might come back. That's a fun game Friday against his former team in Minnesota. But that ankle injury was very ill-timed for him. He had a great debut with them and won him a game against the Warriors. And for now him to be out right now with LeBron being out, Anthony Davis, as one staffer told me, Anthony Davis is going to be surrounded. Okay, when you don't have D'Angelo Russell out there, you don't have another ball handler out there, he needs some help to just space the floor. D'Angelo Russell was such a good fit for them, not only because he can handle the ball, but because of his shooting ability. And so if he can get it back by that Friday game here in LA against the Timberwolves, it mitigates some of the damage here that with Bron being out.
No, I agree, and this is why you got to have depth for a team, a playoff team, and this is why they should have made this deal. This deal's available in the summertime. This is why you got to have your team ready to go beginning of the season, because times like this, with the margin so close and small, it's tough for them, but I still got the Lakers, making the play-in.
Of course you do.
Well, of course, you have Lakers. I think the biggest issue here is they ask, is there enough time? Well, the is there enough time is not only where they are, but it means that they have no room for error. And that's, I think, the biggest problem. I think LeBron James' minutes were probably way too high on a subpar team. He was having to fight so hard just to keep the team within striking distance. And now he gets help, but it's in the last third of the season, and now you can see him starting to break down. You got to protect that older guy, and you got to protect his minutes.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.